What's going on, film family? Welcome to another episode of Filmmakers Friday with your guy Rod the Right One. So, as I promised, this is part 2 of that episode from last Friday, right? So I hope you got all the information from that one. But we're going to keep it rolling now on this one and just finish it out for you. So this is everything you're going to be needing to shoot your first film, whether it be feature, short, whatever you want to do. All right. Part 2. If you didn't see part 1 and you somehow stumbled across this video, I'm going to leave a link somewhere for you. So take a look at it, watch part 1, then come back into part 2 and finish it up. All right. Without further ado, part 2, Filmmakers Friday. Hey, see you guys on the next one. All right. So number 3 that you're going to be needing to shoot your film is going to be lighting. All right. Now, I'm not a pro on lighting. There's a ton of people who are a lot better than me on YouTube and lighting. So look up lighting videos. But there's mainly 3 lights you're going to need. There's a key light, which is your main light that you're going to use to kind of focus on whatever the subject is. There's a fill light, which is a light from the opposite side, and then backlight. Right, those are the 3 lights that you usually have. There's a lot of other lights that people can add on to, or whatever the case may be. But if you have a 3-light kit, 3 lights in your kit, you're usually good to go. You can kind of illuminate exactly what you need of your subject. All right, and control the lighting to the best of your ability. But it is important to have. Not all natural light is good. Not all lights in your home are good. Some of them are going to give you weird-looking film. Some of them are not going to look so great. So just make sure that you have an ability to control the lighting so you can kind of get the look exactly how you want it to look. Number 4 is a microphone. A lot of cameras come with built-in microphones, but the problem is if you're not within a certain range or close enough to them, they're not going to pick you up. I'm about maybe 5 feet away from my camera right now. I have an external mic on like a boom mic on the side of it, and it's barely picking me up. So what I have actually to record this is I'm using a mic on a mic stand that's out of frame right here, just so you guys can actually hear what I'm saying. And that's when it comes to filmmaking. I would say the number one thing is going to be your sound. You can fix bad video, or you can say it was your style. Like you can kind of get past bad video. But bad sound, the second someone hears something that doesn't sound right, or if it's just not coming off right, you will lose your audience in moments. All right. Video, you can kind of like say, oh yeah, that's my directing style, whatever. However you can tweak it. And people will believe you. But sound, no. Once the sound's gone, your audience is as well. So make sure you pick up a good mic. When you're looking for mics, if you want to figure out how to find a good mic, I would suggest YouTube, where you're at right now. So a gentleman by the name of Chris Judd, I don't know him personally at all. I'm just starting on my YouTube career, but he made a video that actually helped me pick out my microphone. So he has a video in his collection. I would advise you look at that when you get a second. Type in the name. I think it's Chris or Curtis Judd. I'm not 100% sure, but he breaks down. It has to be like 100 microphones, just kind of giving you a breakdown of when and where to use them. So like the best internal microphones for dialogue, the best external microphones for outside recording, the best internal for dialogue, the best outside mics for, whatever the case may be, the right shock mounts to use and everything. He kind of breaks it down to a T. So I would advise you watch that video. It changed my way of looking at microphones and helped me pick out a great microphone for the first film that I shot, which made my audio come out pretty clean. Could have did some things better, of course, but I think the audio came out pretty clean, so I was very excited about it, very happy about it. So definitely watch a video by him. It's either Curtis or Chris Judd. I'll put a link somewhere so you guys can see the video that I'm talking about, but definitely check that out. All right, before you're buying a microphone, it will save you a lot of time. I would say that it will save you a lot of time. It saved me a lot of time from having to go to every single 30 different videos and checking who's what and what's where and so on and so forth. So that's that. So microphone is going to be next. Now, I would say we have 4B, if you will, is an external recorder. Now, depending on what camera you're going to be using, some of them don't have great preamps. So with preamps, when you're recording on like a microphone, it's what the sound, it's like almost like a transfer of the sound to whatever the recording device is. And if it has good preamps, then it comes out good through the mic, through the wire, and into the recorder. And it's gonna all sound seamless. But without good preamps, sometimes it might not come out great. So what I ended up doing, because of the bad preamps on the original Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, I bought a Zoom. It's an H4n. I bought a Zoom H4n, and it worked wonderful. It was great. And I think it's not necessarily 100% a necessity, but definitely something that you want to look into if you want to get high quality audio. So there's the two entry level ones are going to be Zoom. A lot of the H4n one, the H4n is one. They have the H4n Pro, H5n, like all that's going to be in like that $300 or less range. There's another one that's entry level also, but you can actually, again, Curtis Judd, gentleman that I was telling you about, made another great video on that as well. I swear this isn't a promo, he's not paying me, but I'm just trying to help you guys out, man. He made great videos, so I want you guys to see him too. He made a great video about the recorders, the basic ones, entry-level ones, and he kind of gives you some advice on what to use, which ones not to use, so on and so forth, and what situations in which you use them. I think I actually might be on the video with the mics as like at the end, so it's like a 20-something minute video, kind of like this one. But yeah, that's what you guys are want to make sure that you're looking out for. Is if you don't like the way that the sound is coming through your camera when you connect like your microphone, you might want to invest in an external recorder. It might just be a good idea. So number 5 for essentials, it's going to be another one of like on the mic. We'll say 4B. It's going to be either a mic stand or boom pole. So if you have someone to help you out, I would say a boom pole. You can have a gentleman or lady hold the microphone over the talent so that you're getting the clean shots and the mic's not in the camera, whatever the case may be. Like I said, I have the boom mic down here, the boom pole, the mic stand, so that you guys can kind of catch my audio clean. But that's the best way to do it. So make sure it's out of frame, obviously, either above a talent's best, but below for me in this case, because my mic stand is not the best and kind of likes to fall into my frame. So find yourself a good either boom pole or mic stand if you're going to be working solo. Set it up and you're good to go. It's not necessary. It's not a necessity. It's not something that you absolutely positively have to have, but it's a good piece of equipment to have. It's a pretty good piece of equipment. So that's number 4B. So the last piece of equipment I'm going to go over is going to be number 5. It's a tripod, right? The first day of shooting for my film, I had a photo tripod. It was a bad move. So with the photo tripod, it got to a certain height, and then to get it higher, you actually had to crank it. It wasn't like just kind of got like huge or whatever the case may be. I had to crank this thing in order to get it high. Now the problem with that is when you're recording video and it's on the skinny neck that has to be cranked up, it's swayed. I have this big camera set up, I have like batteries all over the place, I have my external monitor, and I have a whole bunch of other stuff. It just kind of makes my camera super heavy. So for it to be on like this little skinny neck, extended so I can get like straight on shots, it was a mess. So immediately, I knew I wasn't shooting part 2, or the second shoot wasn't gonna be until the following weekend. So literally that night, I think, went on Amazon and I found myself a great tripod. I'll put a link in the description if you guys are interested. It's like $150 when I bought it. I think it's amazing. It gets super eye level shots. I can go as high as almost like 10 feet if I need to. I can almost use it like a crane, like to get over the top shots and so on and so forth, man. The thing's amazing. It's a beast. It's metal for the most part. A couple plastic parts on like the latches. It has a level, super smooth fluid head. It's a great piece of great piece of gear that will help you tremendously when you're shooting films. Handheld is great, but you can't handheld everything. There's going to be long periods of time where you have a subject or whatever the case may be, where you're shooting A, shooting B of like dialogue scenes, and you're going to need your camera on a tripod. So I would advise invest in a good one, something that's going to last you, and you'll be good to go. So those are going to be your basic 5 things you're going to need to shoot your film right now. So if you want to shoot your film today, that's the best. Those are the main things you're going to need. Now, a couple things, I would say like little tidbits or optional things that I can kind of go off onto also. A lot of batteries. So a lot of these cameras, especially when you kind of go into like the cinema camera level, they're so powerful, these cameras, right? That their battery life sucks. So I'm actually filming this for the longevity with my camera plugged into the wall. It's actually getting like AC power. Just because I know if I try to shoot this, I'll get like 10 minutes and my battery will die, switch, so on and so forth. If you don't have that luxury, which you're not always gonna have, you're gonna be shooting outside, inside, so on and so forth, the best thing to do is invest in a lot of batteries or just a big battery solution. Like there's power banks, there's V-mount batteries, there's so many different options. But having a great battery is just gonna kind of put your mind at ease so that you don't have to think about that as you're trying to set up your shots and do everything else. I would also suggest, depending on the camera that you get, if you don't have one with an articulating screen, maybe invest in an external monitor. So the one that I have is actually a Fill World monitor. It's 4K. It's a 5.5 inch display. It's bright enough to get what I gotta get done in sunlight, and it also works fine inside, whatever the case may be. So it's a good monitor. There's a lot better ones out there, but it works for what I need to work for. So I would suggest maybe getting an external monitor, especially if you're kind of getting at certain different angles, like lower angles or higher angles, and you can't see the screen, if you will, because it doesn't articulate, like my Blackmagics don't articulate. I would suggest that. Just it'll make your life a little bit easier, just so you can kind of get certain angles, and you don't have to necessarily be standing directly behind the camera. You kind of stand off to the side or wherever you end up putting your monitor, just to help you out a little bit. Other things, I would say media. So this is not really an optional one. This is obviously one that you're gonna need to make sure that you have. And I would have a decent amount of gigabytes on a card. So SD cards are extremely cheap for the most part. And if you catch them on the right sale, you can get like 300 gigs damn near if you add up for a couple $100. The beauty of the camera that I have now is actually it has 3 different media options. So I can use an SSD, which I'm using right now. I'm using the Samsung T5, 1 terabyte. Thing's a beast. I'm recording in Blackmagic Raw, and I have a couple hours at least, right, that I can just kind of record with. It also takes CFast cards, which are a little bit more expensive, but they're internal, so you don't have to worry about if you're running around that something's gonna get knocked out. And then they also take SD cards, which are great. Issue with SD cards with the higher end cameras is if you don't have like a very fast card and you're trying to shoot like 6K or 4K, it might not be able to keep up. DSLRs, you can get like a 128 gigabyte and it'll literally last you throughout your whole day because you're shooting 1080p in most of them, or like this, the codec isn't as large as these cameras. You know, those are like the main things you want to look out for. So SD cards are like your best. They're gonna be your bread and butter. They're gonna be the easiest things to get when you're starting out. They're cheap. You can find them on Amazon. Almost every single place sells them. So I would say get a bunch, as much as you can, because the last thing you want to worry about when you're recording is the battery life and how much space you have, right? You know, so like, you know, you don't want to be thinking about, I only can shoot this scene, or I gotta rush through this scene because my battery's dying, or all right, let's do one take only because I only got X amount of space left on my card, right? Those are things you don't want to have to worry about. So invest in getting maybe a bunch of batteries, because you can kind of swap throughout the day, and maybe a bunch of memory cards once again, so you can kind of swap throughout the day, because you're not gonna be shooting consecutively when you're shooting a film. You're gonna be doing scene by scene, have to set up each scene in between, so you're gonna have time to do things like swap batteries and swap cards and whatever the case may be. That's my filmmaking essentials. That's the 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, whatever number I end up stopping at, amount of things that you are gonna need to shoot your film today. You can do it, guys. Get out there, shoot. The more you shoot, the more experience you get, and the better off you'll be. That's all I got for you guys for today. Once again, this is Rod, the right one, on another Filmmaking Friday, man. See you guys next week. I'm out.
Shit, I got off on bad shit, but practice safe sex until after high school when I got tired of cashing paychecks. Free bands in my pocket feel like sex without the latex. Until the cops told me I got the right to the same treatment as slave gets. Whoa, officer, I know you gotta meet your quota, but I gotta feed my daughter. That's when I thought I had one coming. He threw my my face up on that car, I think he thought he had one running. I'm just trying to feed my stomach, I don't go looking for trouble, I just think that I'm the bound type.